Welcome to Beauties and Beasties, the Independent Pest Podcast for the UK.
Hello. How are we all doing today?
How are we all this fine evening?
Doing good. Glad that it's a Friday. Happy to have the weekend looming in front of me. But, you know, it's all work and no play. You guys working over the weekend, or are you actually going to take some well-deserved time off?
Working weekend.
I am. So I've got some flooring to pull up in my girlfriend's shop, Blessed Groom's Dogs, and then I've got a load of drainage work to do on a Sunday in a school that has to be done over a weekend when schools are shut. But it's a fly problem that the drainage guys have absolutely assured them that it is definitely not the drains. It's impossible for it to be the drains, but it's the drains. So we've got to put a neck on the block a bit and go and solve it.
Cool. What did we learn this week then? Anybody?
This feels like a trick question. What do you mean, what did we learn?
Did we learn a particular thing this week? Anything new?
I can go with that if you want.
Go on then.
Okay.
I've learned that when shit goes wrong, it all goes wrong at the same time. Like on a serious note, I've never been as stressed and as upset as I am at the minute. Like it's just shit.
Come on then. What things went wrong? Everything.
Just trying to get people to pay. I feel like everyone's hanging on to the money, like it's going out of fashion. It's got to a point where I'm ringing up people you shouldn't be having to ring up. You know, people who have paid bills previously on the system that you're in, and all of a sudden, like they're not paying, and you ring them up and they're like, "Oh yeah, you haven't sent it to the right email address, and you paid 10 cents to that email address before." You know, all that sort of shit. So we're owed a load of money, which isn't coming in. And then van done a timing belt, so that's probably finished. You know, so we'll probably need a new van at the same time. And wages runs coming round and all that. It's just it. It's like, and then the government wants another fucking $5,000 off this or $6,000 off this or whatever it is, and you're sitting there thinking, just shit, innit? Just shit.
Alex, anything this week? Learn one thing.
Like I can't complain because nothing that would have happened.
Nothing compares.
It's going to be that bad. And if I say
there you go, look.
Week, Sean's going to stab me.
HM Revenue and Customs. It's the month, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I have to say that. Okay, so the one thing I've learned this week is when your business partner dies and takes all of the passwords to everything with him, it makes life very difficult when a company's house are like, you need to file now. Go onto the web filing app. And I'm like, with what password? So all I can say is, as a word of warning to everyone, it sounds really macabre and it's awful, but do a drop dead box, as in with all of your password, all of your information in, maybe not like all of the passwords to all of your accounts, but if anyone ever needed to access anything in your untimely demise, make sure you have access to it, because otherwise it's a palaver. That's what I'm going to say, a palaver.
Well, here's one that everybody that's got a limited company will need to do. just as a word of warning, all directors now have to verify their identity and open a Gov1 account to be able to verify it, and verify it with a biometric passport, or go to your post office. And believe me, it's a bitch. God help us if the government ever have to make a digital ID, because it's an abortion. It really is. Took me 2 fucking days.
What a choice use of words. Right.
Oh, no. Oh, terrible.
On some better news, I think I generally had a good week, mostly by virtue of the fact that I can't think of anything that's gone particularly wrong, other than my toing and froing with Company's House. It's been a good week. It's been nice to get my feet under the table. I haven't done any travelling. That's probably why I'm a bit happier. But in 2 weeks' time, I'll be tootling off to Frankfurt for a week and staying in a castle, which will be lovely fun and games. I know. It's all right for some, isn't it? This is the same conference I went to last year, which I didn't really tell you guys about too much, but I went to Ludwigshafen last year for the annual conference. And Ludwigshafen is the BSF factory, which is literally the size of a small city, entirely owned by it's the most mental thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, genuinely, the building that they had to build and repair all of their so their factory workers could cycle from the main entrance to their jobs was bigger than everything pest control in the UK combined, and that was just the shed for their bikes. And this was the major. It was crazy. Like,
sounds dodgy.
No, this is the scale at which we sort of like operate in, which is our industry could have fit into their bike shed. That's how
now
bad it is. Yeah.
I've got another question for Sean then, because of the van.
Oh yeah.
I've got a van question. Because it's blown up now, do you think that you keep a van until it does blow up, or do you think you try to change it at a regular interval? And if that, in what interval do you think that is? And is 150,000 miles too much?
Yes, the other lesson, it's my fault, isn't it? Because I was thinking about changing them in the summer of last year and didn't get round to it, and thought I could squeeze a bit more out of them. And then, as I say, do the things when you are on the up, because when everything fucking hits you, it all comes at once, doesn't it? So keeping them for as long as we've kept them for is not right. They look tatty, they look old, they're making money, but they're not really representing your business too well. So I think there's a lot to do with how well they look, because you could have an old van, couldn't you, that's really smart and really, you know, if you're the guy who's just knocking about, but you could also have a van that's 3 years old, and if you're bringing up down farm tracks and throwing it around and you're doing heavy work in it. So I don't know if it's necessarily mileage related, but I would definitely say that if you've got vans, you know, in deep down in your heart, they should be changed, you know. And I knew I'd left it too long. I was crossing my fingers, and then sure enough, worst time in the world, timing belt on it. So, you know, who's to blame? Me.
What does everybody listening?
Yeah,
what does everybody listening think? When do they look at changing their vehicles? 80,000, 90,000, 150,000? Alex?
I mean, this is an interesting point. Because, okay, I'm a different kettle of fish. I've driven the same Toyota RAV4 for the last 12 years, and I'm up to like 260 on it. But at the same time, we had that gentleman on before. I've totally forgotten his name. One of you will prompt me in a bit. Who did basically lease vehicles. And so, you know, there's that option of, but okay, so we have lease vehicles, but also I'm reminded of Jeremy Clarkson on Top Gear years ago, who said, actually, the most economical thing you can ever do is buy a cheap car, run it into the ground, scrap it, buy another cheap car, run it into the ground. It doesn't look very professional by any way, shape or form, and your insurance is probably going to be through the roof. But as Sean said, it's horses for courses, isn't it? Do you want your swish professional looking vehicle it comes with a price tag. You've got to maintain it, and you've got to do the rest of it. Or do you let someone else take that stress on for you, and do you pay a bit extra to let someone else manage the stress and the lease of that program?
And the other question, of course, is actually, if you had the ability to, would you keep a spare van?
No.
Seems like a big
No.
cash sink when the biggest issue that so many people have is cash flow. It seems like a big pot to depreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wondered, because we've got a van now. We've got a little Connect. It's coming up to 110,000 miles. It's worth maybe £5,000 actually. The Fords seem to hold their value. Do we get rid of it and buy another van and then keep that one, or what do we do? I don't know. I had transit custom service every 10,000.
Oh, sorry, Lee Wright is saying I had a transit customer service. Had a transit van customer service every 10k. The wet belt broke on it, cost me 10k. The new engine, Ford offered me a 10% toward the new engine. Now I just replace my van every 4 years instead. I have heard nothing but bad things about wet belts from every person who's owned a van or a car with them. I'm very lucky.
Everyone's the same, Al.
Yeah.
Yeah. Avoid them. Avoid
Yeah.
them. Avoid them.
Saying that,
You
we
know,
had our Ford Connect just through the timing chain, shagged the engine right off.
Really?
Yeah.
I was about to say my Toyota is a chain rather than a belt. Never had a day's issue with it. Now you've said that, I'm genuinely sort of like sorry, I've just realised why Sean's face has gone absolutely like starstruck. But if any, I'm not going to read it out. But if anyone,
Let's ignore Rod. Let's ignore Rod.
just all ignore Rod. Right? Shall we start the podcast proper, guys? Otherwise, we could just chit-chat for hours about this. So, of course, this is our monthly news roundup and catch-up. I feel like there should be a little jingle here or something. Actually, you've got the buttons, haven't you? Can you go and give us a round of applause?
What can we have?
We've recently found that they did an update and they've given us sounds to use. Only if they can't hear me. I don't know when you're doing it.
Right. So who's first this week?
I don't know. Who was first last week? Last month.
No
remember?
idea, mate.
Oh, right. Okay. Here we go. Call it heads or tails.
Go on then, Will. Heads. Got to be in it. Heads.
It is heads.
Right, we'll go first then.
We didn't decide we didn't decide how we're going to play that. Whether or not, if you won it, you'd go first. So
Will always goes first, doesn't he? So we've got MPTA news this month. Obviously, the biggest announcement is that there's been a change of chair people, and big thanks to John and Paul, who stepped down to make way for the new chairperson, chair and vice chair. So the chairperson is Jasmine Emerson. And the vice chair is me.
One for that. Hang on. Where's the gong? I did not do the boo. Before anyone points at the BPCA guy and said the BPCA did the boo, I did not.
Yeah,
congratulations, man. That was really well done.
So that was the big announcement for this week. So Jasmine brings a lot in. She's got a lot of experience in finance and corporate work as such. So nobody else wanted to do it, mate. Don't worry. So she brings her bit, and hopefully I bring my little bit with a little bit maybe of experience, perhaps. But all things aside, we look forward to working with the board and working with the whole industry and taking things forward in the future for everybody.
We are all very
this
excited
week
to have you on board. Well done, Hugh. Proper job here.
So this week we had a webinar with the DWP, the Department of Work and Pensions, along with the RSPH to start the process of launching the MPTA Career Hub and showing people that pest control is actually a real profession and a proper career in the future, not just for us oldies, but people that are young coming into the industry, that there is a definite career path, and also for people that wanting to change industries, how they can go forward. Syngenta were on the the webinar as well with the 5x25 program for under 25s. So that was this week. We formulated a article and a letter to go to your local MPs about the Hunting Act, and just really we're not at the stage where they're going to ban dogs for use for rats and rabbits, but it's just a sort of a letter just to fire the first shots across the bows that we're aware of what's going on, and please can we not have mission creep into much what we talked about last week, into banning dogs for the use of rats, rabbits, ultimately perhaps invertebrates. So there's an article up on the newsletter for the MPTA, and there is a downloadable letter there that you can download and then hopefully just tailor it a little bit so you can send it with your experiences in and how important it is that we keep dogs in the industry as a tool. And it's not a hobby, and it is all about public health. It's just raising awareness. The first pushes across the shots across the bows to say, look, we're aware of what you're doing. Please bear us all in mind. Whether that's, the whole industry as a whole. So if you could take the time to download that letter and send it to your local MP, I would urge you, please, to just change it a little bit, because I have been told that if MPs get multiple letters that just look the same, they're lazy and they'll just chuck them in the bin. So just tweak it a little bit and fire it off to them. And also, we're encouraging people to the photo competition is still running. So please do send in your pictures of real work, real technicians, real pest controllers. And there is a vouchers up for grabs if you win a prize, because your photograph gets picked. So please do that as we're looking at upgrading the MPTA website. Thanks to Sean for sending some pictures in. Thanks to Philip van der Wit for sending some pictures in. And thanks to Matthew Price for sending some pictures in of their dogs at work, so they could go on the article. So it's really
should we be using the photos that Philip and Matthew have sent in? Because I think the Jack Russells, aren't they? Like, we don't want to be associated with that, do we? They're all rubbish, aren't the Jack Russells?
Oh.
How would it trigger Jack Russell owners? How would it trigger them? They're just going to absolutely, even though I'm literally saying it just to wind these up, they'll still get triggered, won't they?
20 minutes into the podcast, and Sean has already just alienated everyone with the Jack Russell. So there we go. The comments for the rest of the night be, black dog, white dog.
Yeah.
So, sorry, it is a bit of a short one for MPTA Roundup this month because so much has been going on. My head's a spin, and it's spinning around with working out with Jasmine how we go forward, working out a plan of what we're going to do, where we're going to go, what our members want. It's actually quite exciting, but also quite busy. So hopefully a little bit more next month. I'll be able to give you a little bit more detail.
Awesome.
That's
cool.
my bit done.
It's your bit
Alex.
done, right? On to my one. So I've got some notes. Also, I must say something to add that my little second screen that I've got, the piston on it's blown. So instead of it being at a reasonable height, it's all the way up here. So if I look as though I am consulting God for my notes, I am not. I'm just reading from the screen that's stuck on the ceiling. So let's see if I can move this around a bit. So first things first, we say PestX is coming together. It's a PestX year to PestX. Unlike Alex to have no, it is not. PestX year, firmly on horizon. Anyone who wants to put the dates in their calendar, it is Wednesday the 18th and Thursday the 19th of March. And just to confirm, the Excel show, Sean, where's that one?
That one's definitely in London, and you definitely go along the Docklands like again. That's definitely where that one is. Yeah,
we won't tell this.
It's a wrong fucking place, isn't it?
We won't tell the story again, but if you listen back to some previous episodes, that Sean's grasp of geography is not that great when it comes to trade shows. Sorry. To attend, the full programs for both the Spotlight Theatres and the Technical Theatres are now live. So just go to pestex2026.org, Google Pestex 2026, and you'll find that. Lots of people talking at it. I'll be there talking, so come and say hello and give us a heckle. I think I'm talking about, I don't know, I'm on a panel for one of them, and I'm talking about, that's it, bait boxes at another. So there we go. Pest careers and recruitment. So, of course, recruitment continues to be one of the biggest challenges and drivers for our sector. Certainly has been a talking point for a long time. May or may not have seen that we at the BPCA, we did a recruitment video that can be used by anyone on their socials as they like. It's not heavily BPCA branded. It is simply just a recruitment video for the industry to use. And the best thing is it features yours truly here playing the role of father. But the video has been launched for this year, and already it has been viewed 133,000 times on YouTube and over 252,000 times across other forms of social media. So it's doing very well at getting the message of pest control as a career out there. The reach shows it's landing well, and beyond our usual sort of like industry efforts. So we might be onto something there. So happy days. Have a look out for that. It is GCSE drama material. I definitely steal the show in the sense that I am terrible in it.
Yeah, you are.
I am absolutely.
Can we carry on with the party now?
No. What's my line? It's not kind of you really saved the day was Anna's line. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, it is. We can carry on with the party now.
Oh, no, our party can go ahead now. Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
You almost look like a cross between one of the dwarves out of fucking
Lord of the Rings
and
Gimli.
Gandalf. Yeah, a cross with like if Gandalf and Gimli had a gay love affair and had his child, it was Alex in the advert on it. We can carry on with the party now. You shall not pass.
I am not even mad at that. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if there was two characters to be likened to, Gandalf and Gimli,
be worse.
That's very much my wheelhouse, guys. Just glad you
could be Dharma and Nilsson.
Yeah. Right. On to the next one. So forums. So BPCA forums have adopted a new format. It's a longer day, but a lot more emphasis on the practical element to it, proving really, really popular. The first was done in Glasgow just last week, I believe. Lots of positive feedback about the new format. So keep an eye open for those if you want to do something a bit different, or if you're a bit bored of the standard way that forums have been done for the past 20 years. Come and have a look. It's a bit different. Quals and the future of qualification. So the qualifications working group is well on its way to bring out the next range of consultations around the next level qualifications. Yes, Jason, Mr. Blobby was my acting coach, and despite what you say, you might say that as an insult. Everybody knows who Mr. Blobby is. He was a very successful, incredibly weird guy. Okay, but major consultation underway for the new qualifications framework done by the Qualifications Working Group. So keep your eyes open for that. It'll be your chance once again to have your say as to where the qualification framework is going through that group. The aim, as always, is to create a range of qualifications that generally support like professionalism, progression, and a long-term career plan within the sector. All of those things. But as we said before, make sure your voice is heard. If you have concerns, speak to your trade associations. Both of them have a voice within the qualifications framework. Get involved, or if you want us to do it on your behalf, email us at the bottom. Email us at beautiesandbeasties23@gmail.com, and you or I or Sean can get the voice across for this. A little bit on policy, animal welfare and trapping. So the BPCA is continuing to engage closely with DEFRA on their animal welfare strategy for England. Key focus being ensuring that wildlife control tools remain available to professionals. Important to note that as of this moment, rats and mice are not currently covered by this strategy or its reforms, and BPCA is working hard to ensure that policy decision makers remain evidence-based and proportionate, and don't do anything that's going to undermine public health or push operators toward using more risky practices. Two more bits, and then we'll just go on to the end of that. So the CEO, Rosina, recently was invited to attend the Trade Association Forum of Parliamentary Reception 2026 at the House of Parliament, and she had a good opportunity to speak to many leaders from across the UK's trade association community and parliamentary policymakers, where she was able to expound the value that pest management and the whole pest management industry brings, not just to itself, but to public health, to public safety, and to the national economy as a result of that. And then finally, BPCA has submitted some evidence-based proposals to update the Decent Homes Standard in Northern Ireland, which has not been updated since 2004. The aim is for BPCA to get this standard to bring more in line with the AWAB's law that was passed within the UK, and then ultimately to get the Welsh Assembly and the Scottish Government to have a more proactive, pest-orientated view towards housing as time goes on. Couple of dates for your diary. First BPCA Digital Forum is on Wednesday the 28th. The next BPCA Physical Training Forum is on Wednesday the 18th of February in Peterborough, where I will be talking about cockroaches. And then finally, PestX, 18th to 19th of March in London, open to the whole industry, UK's biggest pest management expedition and conference. Come, have a look, come see us. All three of us will be there. Are you coming down to you? Come on, you've got to come to at least one of these.
It's past Bristol, mate.
Can't walk, can he? Can't fucking walk, can he? He certainly can't run from the hoodlums that hang around in London.
No, get stabbed.
No.
It's a bit stabby there, isn't
it? Right, so now that's me in a nutshell.
Stabby?
It's a bit stabby, isn't it?
Yeah, what's that?
London?
London.
No, there's no way, it's a bit stabby. There's actually a TV program or something where that comes from. Bit stabby, isn't he?
I don't know.
I remember. Yeah.
Now, what have we got next? We've got product news.
Put a banner up. We have product news. We've got something. We actually have some product news, don't we?
We did. Before you move on, Basis has lost the CEO.
Oh yeah.
Give us some updates on that.
I don't know. I just know that there was a release saying that CEO is no longer, and that was all I've been told. I'm not in the loop. I'm not my party, not my not my circus, not my monkeys,
not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah.
How's everybody getting on with Basis? Do we know?
Don't know.
know.
Obviously,
Right.
we're not in it. And another thing, just to go back what Alex was saying there, we've had our first couple of proper inquiries through because of AWAB's law, the housing associations. But anybody out there, be careful and not just get you in to waste your time.
Just to get that reaction.
No, the ones that we've had, they've got you in on the understanding that they're looking for suppliers, and then really they're just trying to work out where you're at and what you think and how you would do it. And he even said to us when I left, he went, "Thanks so much for coming down and giving us your time." I was like, "You fucking prick."
Fuck off.
You prick, yeah. Like, that was not why I was here. He didn't ring us up and say, "Please come in and give us 2 hours of your time." But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, so AWAB's law is going to make a difference, isn't it?
Yeah, if you start to find yourself in those situations, personally, the best bit of advice I can give you is start doing the age-old trick of, your survey, your time costs money, but if you're going to go ahead with this, then it'll be deducted from the final bill. But make it very clear up front in writing that if they're going to ask you for advice, you are going to charge them for your time, unless, of course, it turns into a more full-term agreement. But don't let them just take you for a ride, phone you up, getting all the information that they need, only to drop you by the wayside later on. Make sure that you're covered from day dot.
And a classic one is when they say, "What's your availability?" Just turn around and say, "What's your payment terms?" That'll, that works. Yeah. If they're pissing you around, that'll work quick. So what have we got?
I can't see anything, Sean. So I've just gone onto the Basis Prompt website and their news. They've not mentioned anything about. I would have thought that would have been a fairly key talking point.
Sean's in the know.
The sources, the 3 people who have told me are absolutely in the know. It's not dog shit. Like, is it Karina Urquhart? I think she's the daughter of the guy who set the whole thing up. Is it Karina?
Wasn't she?
Yes, so
fucking 12 months ago, aren't you?
Andrew Lazenby stepped back in November 2024, and an interim CEO was appointed, which was Karina Urquhart, appointed, and then while the board initiated a search for a permanent successor in 2025. So it could be just the fact that they've found a permanent successor to the interim.
I thought she was made a permanent.
No, she was made permanent, yeah.
Yeah, she was.
I think.
Definitely. Fair dinkum. Right. Product news. Let's see if we can do this. See if I can do this. Slides and PDFs. Image file. Might work. Beauties Beasties. Here we go. Hopefully. Oh, this is not. Yeah, there we go. Can we still open that? Oh, it did work. So Pelsis have brought out a bait block with a hook on it. Let me see if I can pull this up. Don't do this very often, so.
We wait with bated breath. So those listening back on Spotify, Hugh is just putting some pictures up of Pelsis's new block, which is a big cubed red wax block bait with a bit of bent steel wire sticking out the top of it, obviously for unicorn fishing down sewers.
So I will have to read this out. Sawkill 100-gram block with a hook. Comes in 10-kilo buckets. Ready to use wax block bait containing diphenochrome for the control of browns, rats, and house mice for indoors and outdoor around buildings and in sewers. With hook, formulated with diphenochrome and featuring an integrated hook system, each block can be fixed firmly in place to prevent wash away or loss while maintaining high palatability. High stability in damp and humid conditions, Sawkill block with hook is suitable for rats and mice and approved for use in and around buildings and in sewers. There you go.
Wait, how big's the block?
It's
100 grams.
That doesn't make sense. Most mouse block placements are limited to 20 to 40 grams.
It says
That's
100
got
gram
sewers
block.
though in it.
And you don't get mice and sewers. I'm sorry, Daz. It's like I think
It's a sewer block in it. I
it's
tell
a
you,
sewer. It's
so
a sewer block that has
the
mice on the
first thing
label.
is, I love the size of the block. I love the size of the block. I think that's absolutely brilliant. 100 grams. We use 200 gram mega blocks from Rackmore, but I think a 100 gram block would be nice to have. Plus the lump of wire on it is useful. Do you know the only thing I think that missed out on there? I think they would be absolutely perfect for burrow baiting as well at 100 grams.
You could stick a wire on the end and stuff it down with a stick and pop it out like like a ship in a bottle.
Yeah, or you
Yeah,
can
you could,
attach
yeah.
it to the back of a bait star.
Well, you could.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think
That was
burrow
awful.
bait would be good. I like them. I like them a lot. I've seen them wax blocks before like that, though. Are they actually palatable? Because every time I've seen them, fucking things don't eat them when they're that waxy.
Can I go nerdy? Are you going to allow
Go
me
on,
to
yeah.
do nerdy shit?
Yeah,
Go
but
on
no, we
then.
need nerdy on this one.
We need a bit nerdy on this. Right. So with hard wax blocks, so paraffin wax blocks, there's three main mechanisms for producing them. Okay. You have a compression block, which is where it runs through two rotary mills. And as the two mills meet in the middle, the force of compression goes up to 50, 60 tons. And you use a powdered material and a powdered wax. And it's that momentary, I mean, like half a second of rolling through the drums that makes it molten. And as it pops out the other side, it's already cooling down and solidifying. So that's your compressed blocks. That's things like, let's not go into trade names. You know exactly what they look like. They're tablets and they rhyme with born. The other
Right,
blocks,
what?
born, it's storm block. The storm blocks are the only
Storm.
compression blocks out there. You then have extruded blocks, which work by taking a sort of like a paste type material and putting it through an auger, which is basically a screw that goes to a point, and then putting it through a die. So it comes out a little bit like pasta. And as it goes through that point, that force of compression turns it molten ever so briefly. And then as soon as that pressure is taken away, it solidifies down. For those,
contract.
you don't need, like contract, yeah. You don't need nearly as much wax in those. They tend to be quite palatable as well, but it takes long to make them, and you only ever really get them in long sausagey shapes. And the final type, which is like you see there, are called cast blocks. It's where you physically melt the wax, mix it all together in a drum with a whole load of material, and then you put it out the other side and you put it into trays like you would do like a chocolate machine, and you let it cool down, and it takes a long time to cool down. Point being is that depending on how you make these things, depends on what else you can put into it. Compression and extruded blocks tend to have a lot of wax in them as a result, in order to make sure that for that fraction of a second that they are molten, that they bind together. So they have to have a lot of other stuff in there. But things like cast blocks, you can get a lot of co-formulants in there because you are physically mixing it together like batter. So you tend to find that cast blocks are very good in places like sewers like that because they're fully in Rome, and so they will stay more intact for a longer period of time. All wax blocks will do well in damp environments comparative to pastas, pastes, grains, and pellets. But not all animals are built equal, and so I would say that it would work.
It was always though, if you wanted a block that lasted forever and never got taken and never got eaten, and just wanted to put something in a box, you use clear wrap because nothing ever freaking eats it at it.
So there is an argument to be made as well.
It's almost non-toxic. It was the only block with rodenticide that was classed as non-toxic.
Yeah, because nothing would eat it. You could go back to them like 20 years later and just clean them off with a cloth and put them back in again.
To move away from what do you call it? Trade names here. They're not bringing anyone to disrepute. But certainly wax blocks that utilize
clear wrap.
The single feed anticoagulants can get away
Is it
with
clear wrap?
I don't know what you're saying. I can't hear you. Every time you talk, there's a beeping noise in my brain. I'm trying to be professional. So if you have a very sort of like strong single feed anticoagulant rodenticide, actually the palatability of the block or the necessity to have a highly palatable block drops down, because realistically speaking, you don't necessarily want the animal to eat a lot of it. You only want it to eat a couple of mouthfuls, and that's going to be enough to to perish. So there is conflicting thoughts in technical circles as to whether or not you want a super palatable wax block for single feeds, or whether or not you just want a super stable block for single feeds, because it puts it in the environment longer.
It was fine. They never had clear rat.
Okay.
Enough.
Oh,
there you go. Found some clear rat recently that had been in a bait box in a chicken shed for 5 years. It was good as new.
A testament to the formulation technology there, that they can create something that is stable for 5 years in a bait box. That's the takeaway I'm taking from this. Syngenta, I know you listen to us occasionally.
Right, next one.
Yeah.
Now, many of us have seen this scenario, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, Tony Bover has come up with the rat ban valve, which fits on like this. And then you put on a image file, a one-way valve like that. So if, oh, wrong one. Oh, wrong one. So, sorry, guys. Don't know what we think. There we go. So, for those people that can't see, it's a one-way valve that fits over a hole of some description, namely an air vent. Maybe it could be something else, where you think that the rats are entering and exiting, particularly exiting from the building through it. So they can only get back out again and therefore cannot get back in again. Maybe it's also a good detection tool. I don't know. Time will tell, but they're called Rat Ban and they're available from the Tony Bover's website.
That's kind of cool. I like the idea of that. It does predispose that is the primary mechanism of ingress and egress, and they're not coming up from like a broken sewer line, and they're just sort of like, as they tend to do, cycling in and out.
Yeah.
But I do really like it as a sort of like trap out option. And I think the more you think about that, the more interesting those like systems will become for controlling the movement of rodents around a building. So,
well, once again, I suppose. Sorry, Alex.
No. Go.
You can use it as a detection tool, can't you? Possibly, if the customers, you could say to the customer, I think, because you're only going to have a couple in the van, aren't you? That you're going to take them back off and reuse them. You're not going to leave them on permanently. It could get to the situation where you think to yourself, well, I think they're coming in and out of there. I'll put one on and see what happens.
The more you think about it, the possibilities for that kind of sort of like innovation are boundless. Of course, I always say there's two types of proofing. There's the type 1 proofing, or the type 2 proofing, so you start there, which is excluding animals from an environment after you've achieved control. That's fixing the bottom of the doors. That is, putting the air vents, the meshes over the vents and the rest of it. So after you've finished a rodent program, then you do the proofing. That's type 2. Type 1 proofing, in my mind, is controlling the movement of rodents around the site, where you want to move them to an area which is, for you, more controllable. You don't necessarily want to bait or trap out in areas that are accessible to the public. So you want to move the rodents away from those areas into areas where you have a better control of the environment. And so things like that is perfect, because at that point you control where those animals are going to be. But also imagine you use that in conjunction here internally, let's say, when rodents are moving from one side of a wall to another, or moving from one environment to another, you could attach a length of drain pipe to that with your contact jelly, your contact foam in it. Forcing them along that line to then move down. They can't go backwards. They're going to have to go forwards. They're going to have to go through that gel. You're going to have to go through that foam. You could even potentially use it in conjunction with live trapping if you wanted to. You wanted to offer that service to remove an animal from an environment in a inverted commas, humane way, dispatch off site. The more you think about it, the options just really open up there.
Can I put my MPTA hat on a second?
No, yeah, of course. You've earned it. Go on, go for it.
If you're an MPTA member, you can get a 25% discount.
Whee! Michael. And considering that someone just put up in the comments, it's £130 plus that. Yeah, you're going to have to definitely be.
But again, this I'm not having a go, Glyn, but it's not up for us to decide whether the customers can afford it or no. It's up to us to offer it. If they turn around and say, no, I don't want it, that's fair enough. But don't always instantly think that the customer won't buy something because you have decided how much they can and they can't afford. I'm not saying that's necessarily right or wrong, but that's the way that I would suggest. Don't be blinkered in how much a customer can or can't afford. They can turn around and say no. Do you want me to put this valve on this air vent that I think they're using, or do you want me to kill them in here with some rodenticide, and then I won't be able to find the rat? It'll stink to high heaven, or it could possibly smell. Which would you prefer? Go on, Sean, you were going to say something.
Do you think they'll work?
Don't know till I tried.
Be honest. Do you think they'll work?
Works under the same principle as a rat flap in a drain, doesn't it? The argument being...
Do you think they'll go through valves and drains?
There's video evidence to show that they will go through valves and drains, for sure.
I've never seen that. I've seen lots and lots of video evidence of them going up to it, turning around and coming back. We've seen that a million times. Up, like running, put a valve and come up to it, they'll just turn around and go back, won't push through it. Like, we've seen that so many times. Agreed.
I've seen them get a little toothpick and hold it open with it.
I was about to literally say something similar. So that I've got some really good video. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say ratty boots. I absolutely agree. I think there's a use for them, but I don't think it's what most people are picking up on. I don't think rats will go through. I really don't. But can you put that first picture up, Hugh?
While you put the picture up, let me just tell you
the Nord one.
Yeah.
So there is a product out in Southeast Asia which is basically a version of a live capture trap which uses a gated system just like that in order for and it's aimed at Rattus raptors, and the rats move through the gate into a cage. They're stuck there. More coming. It's a similar rat valve, rat flap situation, and so it obviously does work. But they've found that certain groups of black rats will start to cry in distress, and then their mates will come up to the valve and they'll go halfway into it, so basically opening the valve with their shoulders, and let all of the others out of the cage. So I've genuinely watched videos of this collaborative effort of rats letting themselves, working in teams to let themselves back out of live capture traps. Point being, though, is for those first rats to have got inside that trap, they have gone through and under a flap and through it. It's how your tin cats in the States work in as well, isn't it? They're basically a push-through valve system. So it will work, but as you say, it's nothing's magical.
That story is nearly as bad as the one the farmer told me, the chicken farmer, when he said he went into the shed one night and he saw that there was a rat on his back holding an egg whilst the other rat was pulling it along by the tail. It's like, yeah, okay.
It's a ratatouille shit, isn't it? But yeah, where we go with that?
I
was going to say, I think if people look for people watch it, listening, not looking, what you'll see in this picture, it's an air vent and there's 4 holes chewed out. But the first thing I noticed is it's like 3 course of bricks off the floor, just too tall for a rat to get up to and chew comfortably. It would have to climb, which seems unreasonable. So I don't know Tony, but I know exactly what he's done. He's used a very good visual picture to display it. I agree, that's exactly what he should have done. The third one along, you can see there's sort of an elliptical shape in it. which for me, C1, C2, if you spine the top two things, control Atlas and access controller up and down and left, right. So that rat for me has almost certainly been internal, chewing out, and the height of it tells us that. So Ratty Boots has said, I think the majority of cases, rats entered by the drains, chewed the vents on the inside could be very useful to let trap rats out if they block the redundant drain. I agree. And I think the way I would see me using them, would I buy one or would I buy them? The answer is yes. I think when you get a difficult customer who is not listening to the fact that it's drainage related and genuinely believes that these rats are visiting every night via this tuned air brick, you could literally say to them, well, put that on. Anything that's in can get out. And if that's true, anything that's in will get out, regardless of the wound. And if the noises continue, then you've sort of told them that that was not an entry point, it was an exit point, which I think is absolutely, and I could definitely see that working, especially when you are going up against large companies where the technicians aren't switched on, and that's the truth. I think they will be a very, very, very good tool in the right jobs and the right hands. And I would absolutely buy one for those instances, to have them on the van to almost prove your point. And in fact, I'm thinking of a job now that we deal with where exactly that is happening, exactly that. And they're like, can't be the drains, can't be the drains. I'm like, it's the drains. You can see where they're getting in. And you're like, they're not. All right, that's what it is. Let's put it on and see what happens. And I could see that working. I tell you where I do think it would work, which another thing that people have talked about. Thinking rats, I think would probably be more useful in terms of squirrels at height.
Yeah. Yeah, I made up one at one time when the little bastards were going in through an air vent, coming in and out. Made up one out of an old trap. So
squirrels will push through them in seconds, won't they?
Yeah.
They're really good. Yeah.
Yeah. How's that? Not that one. It ain't going to take you an hour to fit that, though, is it?
I bet it fucking does.
You reckon?
They're perfect when they're a nice flat wall, and then all of a sudden it's not. You start plugging it in, and shit's falling to pieces, and next thing you try to glue it on and hold it in place and all that. Like, the pest control has life in it. Yeah.
I ain't going to glue it on. I want it back.
Yeah.
Also, you're not just charging for that one discrete event of sort of like installing it onto the brick, are you? You're charging for all of the other bits leading up to that and leading away from that. You're going to clear. You made a mess on the floor. You're going to clear that away. It's all part of the time and the service.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. What else have we got on the list of new stuff?
Actually, that's all we've got for products. To be honest, did you have any?
I've come across one which I'm not entirely sure. It's not available to the public, but it might be one that people come across on their site. So it's the Virgo Power Shield system.
Oh, so yeah. What's that about? Yeah.
I don't know. You guys would know.
No, I've seen it.
It looks interesting, doesn't it?
I've seen the video where the rat walks up to it, and I've seen the very nice little cartoon of them putting the track down on either side and the rat walking up and then turning around and walking off in the other direction. But I have no idea how it works. Maybe that's one that we can find out.
I'm literally just looking at their promo video right now just to see what's going on. I was hoping you'd be able to, have you found any of these on site?
It looks very, very, very well put together for Virgo to produce. I'm not being rude there. I think it's probably something that they've produced, someone else has produced, and they've liked and they've taken like an exclusivity.
Here's a question
on it.
Yeah. Have we got any Virgo text watching or listening?
No, you fuck.
You don't have to say your name. Just say, yeah, I know how it works.
I mean, Virgo's come out with, over the years, Virgo has always been, even before they were bought by Tyro Group, they were quite engaged with the advent of smart technologies. I know Stephen Strawbridge and Graham Turner were both Virgo techs, or previously, Mighty Virgo, all of its various iterations. And I know Steve looked for years and years at the different forms. I mean, for a while they had one that was using an infrared camera and AI systems to measure rodent movements around the sites, which I thought was phenomenal. And they were selling that commercially. I think it's something like £12 a camera a week or a month. It was phenomenally expensive, but it meant that you could look at an entire warehouse and you'd be able to pick this up. The power rail is seamlessly integrated into the floor, ensuring it remains flush to the ground to eliminate trip hazards and to allow safe passage for vehicles. A low-energy electronic pulse creates a barrier that proactively safeguards high-risk areas like doorways.
In other words, bullshit.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like that bird deterrent one, doesn't it? Which shows elements of success, but also at the same time you see pigeons flat out bowling through it at the same time because they're moving too fast.
What was the other one that you were supposed to be a power line one, like Green Guard? It was Green Guard. No, Green Guard power line. You put it in your sockets at home, and it was supposed to. It wasn't just one unit. It was supposed to electrify your whole.
That was basically it turned the ring main of your house into an EF generator, and it was if it didn't work on the rats, if it worked on the rats, then it probably gave you a cracking headache. Oh no, it's interesting, and anyone who sees it,
you too.
Flock off. Yeah, flock off. That was it.
Flock off.
The thing is flock off has shown various degrees of success. There's no arguments about that. There are videos, there are testimonials where it works. It doesn't work in every situation. It won't sort of like make a force field around a door. So maybe there's an element of truth to it. Maybe there's not. So if anyone sees these systems cropping up and operational on the sites that they may work on, let us know, because that's interesting. That's interesting at the end of the day. So there we go. Adele says it sounds like the rat mat. I thought it was the rat mat as well. So if anyone's seen the rat mat is a fantastic little bit of tech, which basically is floor tasers for rats. It's
That's actually a
it is Avishok for rats, or whatever Avishok marketed as these days. There we go. Sean Muller, I bet Virgo product and only Virgo will be using it. I bet you're right, but at the same time, it's always good to see what people are doing. The same as sort of like every time Rentokil brings out a new innovation, like it or lump it, Rentokil is leading innovation because they have the money, the time, the resources, and the effort. And you would be a fool not to see which way their winds are blowing. So there we go.
The fix unit, the flying insect control system, probably the first sticky pad fly killer of any sense. And look at us now. They're everywhere. So
we know what to do without an IoT at the end of the day, would you? So
can't knock them for it.
Oh no, shit no. Like I think it was you that said before, like if you want a really good jump start on your marketing, just look to see what Rentokil did last week and do the same.
Yeah. So, any acquisitions? I don't think that's been.
Hang on a second. One last thing.
Yes.
TikTok shop, like £3 or something. I seen it and I thought we could probably use that to hold up the camera. It's a little bar that sits on your key rings. It's probably about 3.5 long, metal. Just when you want to get, especially drain covers, when you try to get them open, you've got your key, your box key on it, and can't be bothered to go back to the van and have a quick look. It's absolutely great. I've used it on loads of little stuff. It's like £3. Just sits on your keychain and you can use it when you want. Really, really useful. So we found, anyways. Really good.
Yeah, I can only see
picking the manhole up, and you don't want to get your fingers caught. Put it in and stand on it and stuff. Yeah, useful.
Is it strong enough?
It's stabbing yourself.
It's not Chinese. No. It's not Chinese engineering that bends straight away.
No, that's solid. Solid stainless steel.
I'm pretty certain that all of our steel in Europe comes from China now, so you can't say bad Chinese steel. Just steel.
I can. China. China.
Yeah, sure, it might not be true.
Comes from China.
Sean, like you are a consummate fiddler. So I can just imagine you sort of like using that to sort of like lift up the side of a really grotty, dirty manhole cover, and then when you're talking to the customer, just be like, You're like
Yeah.
picking your teeth with it. Be like, I don't understand why I have food poisoning.
Flick a bit of shit off.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't thought of that, but next time I'm sitting eating my dinner, I'll be like, oh, fucking hell, Alex, you've spoiled it for us again, haven't you?
Sorry. All right, on to our next one. So buyouts and mergers. I don't think we've had
I haven't
big
heard
ones
anything.
recently.
One that I know of on my doorstep, a firm called Wynyard Pest Control. Like called Jepsy, a lot of the people on this in this industry will know him. Was Mighty, was what's it? Igrox, was a rent to kill man, set up his own business, wants to go and play golf. I think he sold out. And I don't know who he sold out to. There was talk about being anti-Cymex. Don't think that went through. There was talk about being Hawking. Don't think that was true. There was talk about being OCS. Don't think that was true. Don't know who it is, but someone. What I've been told is that it's a group of people in London who are buying firms with the idea of having a national reach.
There have been a couple new players, haven't there? Because I've had a few letters actually. One was a facilities management company was branching out, or did we mention that last? I'll get the names next time for next episode.
Yeah. That's the only one I know. But there's still, I spoke to, I can't say who it is. I think he doesn't want us to say it. But these firms are still actively looking. The lack of buying isn't because they're not looking or they've given up. They are actively searching. I think it's going to be one of them. You'll get very few buyouts, and all of a sudden you get 4, 5, 6, and then it'll go back to whatever it was again. But they're still absolutely hunting.
They've picked off the ones that they can. So now it's still that it'll be the smaller ones that need to start doing a little bit more work to get to that we probably don't hear of, isn't it?
Dave Newbird said, if it is Hawking and it's in your area, you'll have a lot of new customers soon. Here's a question for you, though. Here's a serious question. How many people out there have had a firm bought out by a national or a firm go bust on their doorstep, and you just don't get the work, do you? You would think there would be an absolute splurge of work going around, but we just don't find that. Does anybody else?
Yeah.
You? We
had one inquiry this week for a restaurant that a local guy had. He's been out of business 18 months, and they've just phoned up. And the other big one that was bought out by Virgo didn't get any business from it. Didn't mop anything up particularly. A couple, but not masses. So I don't know.
I was talking to someone the other day. For the life of me, I can't remember who it was, and it'll come back to me in a bit. But they said, and whether or not this is true, but they were from that sphere, that when these acquisitions occur, you expect there to be this huge dropout. But in reality, it's only between like 10 and 20% drop off. And most of the time, that's because the people have simply come to the end of their contracts and they are taking that opportunity to look elsewhere. So it's a bit of a fallacy that actually big buyouts result in big sort of like dissolutions of this. What you usually find is the technicians who work for those companies either jump ship to set up by themselves, jump ship to find another company, or stay on. So you tend to find a big churn of technician occurring, but not necessarily a big change in that. Now the question I have for you guys with this is there are, we've got Orkin, we've got Anti-CMEX, we've got Pest Professional Partnership, we have a couple others as well. But there definitely are some, we've discussed them, I can't think of any names, which are basically purely merchant acquisitions. They're just snaffling up these companies and letting them operate as normal. So they're building a portfolio of pest management companies. And I can only assume the aim, therefore, is they're buying these pest management companies with the aim to sit on them to then sell them in a couple of years' time. That's the whole purpose of it. They'll sell them to one of these groups or not. Do you reckon we're going to see a bubble occurring and then, a bursting event where suddenly we're going to have, just a big monster sort of like snaffle up and acquisition occurring, and then a completely different power dynamic in a very short period of time.
Don't most of those types of companies that are buying it for investment to sell later buy them, strip them out, and then add them to their portfolio and then sell them later on when they're stripped out? I can't remember who I was watching. Somebody was talking about it. So I don't quite understand the
I watched something on this, and I think this is true, but you'd have to do your own research. My understanding of it is they'll buy out a firm for however much, but once a firm's revenue gets over a particular level, then they'll leave themselves open to be bought out by bigger sort of VC firms, and it's all to do with EBITDA. Like you can get 3 times. They'll buy firms for 3 times the EBITDA, which is, for want of a better explanation, sort of net profit. And they'll buy, say the firm's at 500,000, they'll buy for 1.5 million. But once they get over, I think it was 5 million, he was saying, then all of a sudden you'll get like 5 times your EBITDA. So they'll buy up however many firms, they'll reduce the cost because they get rid of managers, they put them all on the same system, they use the same accountants, the same this, the same that, increase it, and then all of a sudden you've got something that you've bought for 1.5 times, but it's now worth 5 times. So they're down to where they are. I think it's just a big game of number crunching, isn't it? But the rumor is, what I've been told that they believe is going to happen in the industry is one of these firms will be left holding the baby. That'll just be stood there with a firm that don't really know what they're doing. The pest control isn't working, and they won't be able to sell at the price that they want to sell at. That being said, if you can buy 50 million, 100 million quid's worth of stuff, you're not thick, are you? Like, yes, I'll sit there going, I'm sure I know what they're doing. They're like, I've got 150 million to spend. I think I know what I'm doing more than you. So let's see what happens. Yeah, this is something I keep hearing though. Getting a lot of work off Virgo. All I've heard through our software stuff, talking to people, all we're hearing is that Virgo is I think firms are now actively targeting their sites, aren't they? Actively targeting their sites. Well, that's what we get told, and this is not. This is sort of consistent with what we're being told on the grapevine. That's where people are looking at going. Yeah.
Is this shirt making the camera go weird?
Good to see that you're following the train of thought there.
Sorry, no. It's
so non-sequitur.
Got to throw a spanner in the works every week.
Oh my god, yeah, that was amazing. No, you absolutely fine, buddy. And I think you're right, Sean. Like, there is going to be a point where, there is going to be somebody holding a lot of pest control contracts that don't want them, and they're either going to have to get rid of them, or sell them on at a penny. But there you go. Now, away from this, other news. Do we have any other news?
We have 2. I've got 2. One which
I've got one.
I've got one.
Ooh.
I bet you've all got the same one, haven't we? After 3, this is going to be like countdown.
I got 2.
You've got 2. You go first with your 2, and then we'll go. That's what we had.
Well, I don't want to mention the word because it's the Beetlejuice word, isn't it?
Oh, that's the one I had. Don't mention that one, yeah? That's okay. What you had, isn't it?
I'll mention one then. Okay, so I was doing a little bit of trawling on the internet, like you do, and came across a website that's boasting that they managed to slash the tyres on a fleet of rent-a-kill vans back in June 2025 in the Bristol depot, and they were taking excessive glee out of the fact, and also advertising that they managed to smash up 50 rat boxes in Paris. So it's a case of maybe just be aware.
God, I mean, okay. Slashing the tires on a van, I mean, that shows that you do have
3 vans.
3 vans, okay. The the intellectual capacity for creativity of an overripe watermelon. You're just really not going anywhere with that. Okay, so that as an aside, let's show a little bit of flair in your, vandalism, for Christ's sake. Just at least write the word knob on the windscreen or something. The whole bait box thing is a bit of a worry if you think about it, because you're responsible for that box, you're responsible for that bait. You can bet your bottom dollar when they kicked the stuffing out of those boxes and they split them over everywhere. They didn't pick the bait up afterwards. They didn't make it safe. They would have just caused environmental contamination all over the shop. Anything coming past would have been able to have access to your baits. And that to me, that's the scariest thing. Not the fact that someone vandalized your boxes, the fact that somebody has put you in a position where your legitimate treatment is a risk to the environment. I mean, what the? That's awful. That's really scary.
Yeah, but saying that, there were also other vehicles that did have knob written on them and spray painted, and not pest control vehicles, but butchers' vans. They were gluing up locks on butcher shops, or all sorts of stuff going on there. So, yeah, just one that you maybe need to be a little bit. I don't know. But I'm not. I'm not. I am unfortunately yet again old enough to remember a nail bomb being sent to a pest controller. So it is something, many years ago. Maybe not now, but something just to be aware of.
Was it his wife?
I think that was the rice thing.
Yeah. I would say age-old, bit of philosophy. Do not suffer imagined troubles, which is we can all get ourselves into hyper anxiety about what could be and what may be. But it's very unlikely that it will happen. That being said, being prepared is a very good thing. So don't put yourself necessarily in harm's way. Do not, don't thumb your nose at the people who are going to write knob on the front of your van. But equally, don't worry that every time you park up on the street somewhere, somebody's going to instantly jump out and jim jam your tires. Unless you just wouldn't leave the house, would you? You wouldn't go anywhere. Be proud of what you do at the end of the day.
Who's next? Sean.
Asian hornets in it. Yeah, coming on, they're coming. Found a secondary nest in Wales. The first one they found, obviously dead, defunct, but had got to a ripe old age, had been left undisturbed. It looked like it was at a very low level, actually. So that's kicked out however many hundreds of queens. I don't know if I spoke about this last week, but the NBU have said that they are no longer doing spring queen trapping. They're literally just going to turn up and kill stuff if you find it, which you may as well just fucking give up, mightn't you? But there you go. Get the glory of walking around in suits and killing stuff in bushes. I
suppose the significant thing about that is that that's the other end of the spectrum, isn't it? From we're Kent. We've had the loads in Kent and this side of the country, and this is the first one. It is the first one on this side, isn't it?
Yeah. No, they've had them up in the northwest, haven't they? They've had them up as far as Preston, up that northwest side of England. We've had them.
Is that side? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, past Bristol, isn't it?
Yeah. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get ready next summer. I think there's going to be a busy one. They still think that fighting the good fight, they can contain it. Obviously, the fucking card can. I tell you what did happen, which I got told about. The British Beekeeping Association had their meeting. I think it was the general meeting, whatever it was, that a meeting on YouTube where everyone could turn up, and they basically turned out to their members and said, "Just to let you know, the president stood down. It's cost me 15 grand in legal fees so far. We've earmarked another £25,000. And no, you don't need to know what it's about. And they're like, we want to know what it's about. And they just went, no, shut up. It's on a need to know basis. You don't need to know. We've done that, but that's where your 40 grand's going. See you later. So I got numerous phone calls about that. So I don't know what's going on there at all, but it looks like there is something going on somewhere, somehow, on whatever it is. I hope it's not related to Asian hornets, but let's see.
Did they DBS check him?
I don't know. I've got no idea. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, comes of that. They're trying to stop, this is what I'm being told, they're trying to stop the lady from chairing it, who was chairing it, because she was going to be voted in again in that position. But they didn't manage to get that through. So I've been fed all sorts of stuff, but I just hope it's not related to Asian hornets and that fallout, because I think that they're starting to realise that it's a far bigger problem than they thought it was, and basically they're here properly, I think.
Why would it be something to do with Asian hornets? Sorry, I'm being thick.
Mate, listen, you've got a fucking load of academics who all want to do it their way, and then you've got people in positions of, and like it or not, the BBK was the kicking boy for the MBU and will continue to be the kicking boy for the MBU, because they were what you call it, they were putting out the press releases for the MBU when it was all going off. So people were reading it and going, and giving them a shout down when it wasn't their thing, I don't know. Let's see how that comes out. We'll keep an eye on the Asian hornet thing. But if you're a pest controller, get ready. It's coming.
Oh, but that's still that.
Yeah, but did you see that asked for a load of arborists as well to train them up how to kill fucking Asian hornets?
No.
Oh, yeah. I was like, this is like the biggest kick in the nuts I've ever seen. They went out and
there's no way you can help us. You don't have the skills, expertise, passion, or knowledge to do this. Now, excuse me, Chainsaw Monkey.
I read it. I was like, they just hate us, don't they, as an industry? They hate us for But if they go say we need trained arborists that we can, that are interested in the destruction of Asian hornets' nests. And I was like, ta-da! But no, we're still not right. We're still not welcome. It's all going to kick off, and then we'll probably give it a rent.
Alex, did you have one?
I actually have two. One of them's industry related,
and
is very me related. So which one do you want? The boring industry one or the other?
We'll have both, whatever. We've got 10 minutes.
You've got 10 minutes. Well, no, the other one was I heard down the grapevine. So our previous one guests on here, Adam Holt, has started up his own podcast in the States called BCE with Shell. I can't pronounce her last name. But it's I'm sorry, Shell. You might even hear this, and I actually met you at Pest World, and you were super lovely and really nice to me, and I just stuck to your last name.
But Alex doesn't know who you are. Alex doesn't know who you are. Doesn't care about you, does he?
Right, okay. They've started a podcast, listened to a couple episodes, super good. If you want to add it to your repertoire of things, it's very bug related, super entomology focused. Not Sean's cup of tea at all, but if you're a nerd like myself, it's very enjoyable. So that's it. So that adds to the number of podcasts that we have, which is really good. So add that to your list. You should have something to listen to every day at this rate. Now, onto my one, and I don't know if you've seen this. I'm doing a bit of a charity thing this year. Have I told you guys about this?
4 million sandwiches. 4,000 sandwiches.
4 million sandwiches.
400,000 sandwiches. How many?
4 million sandwiches.
4 million, yes.
4 million sandwiches. So, the point of this is late last year, I read a bit of a newspaper article that said there are 4 million kids in poverty in the UK at the moment. And I sat there and I thought, that is a horribly high number. That is just really awful. I wonder, and then my brain got ticking and wondering and sort of like moving along. I was like, I wonder how difficult it would be to sort of like carry and lift a sandwich for every kid in poverty. And could I turn this into a bit of a charitable event to raise some money? So I have set myself the challenge to lift the equivalent weight of one sandwich or one packed lunch for every child in poverty in the UK, which is roughly 1 million kilos worth of weight, which I'm going to have to move in the course of one calendar year.
Doesn't that depend if it's a cheese sandwich or a ham sandwich?
I suppose it does.
And it could be even more if you had a bit of pickle on it.
You know what I thought Alex was going to say? It. So in order of this, I'm going to eat 4 million sandwiches just to annoy the kids. Another starving child.
Oh my God. No, sorry, there is a meme. I need to find it, but a meme along the lines of that. This guy with this beautiful Scottish accent, and the voiceover says, we could end child blindness tomorrow, and the guy was just like, oh, it's a bit early to be talking about genocide this early on a Sunday, but I'm all for it. You're like, Jesus. I'm not going to eat the packed lunches of 4 million
4 million children. 4 million starved children.
That's not what I'm doing. I'm going to be lifting the weight equivalent to 4 million, the food for 4 million children, to try and raise money for charity that I am donating through Just Giving to Bernardo's, who will get the meals to those children one way or another, or provide them the support which they should so thoroughly deserve. So with that, there's 3 ways you can help. You can find me on LinkedIn. Sorry, you can find me on Instagram, provide some support, cheer me along, lift weights with me, either come join me or lift weights with me, or add to the total, because at the moment it's 4 weeks in, I'm at 80,000 kilos lifted, and I am a broken, shattered man, and I need to keep this pace up every single week for the next 50, it's less than that now, in the next 48 weeks in order to achieve this. So I need you to help. You can also donate, or you can simply just share and spread awareness to this. But it's for a good cause. I'm going to get both Sean and Hugh to do some kind of exercises with me at some point to add to the total. You don't know this yet, but you are going to join me in some kind of exercise special that we do.
Yeah.
Going to get you in like 70s headband.
I'm telling you now, I'm doing nothing that takes food out of children's mouths. And if you've already started with 80,000 starving children and you're just going to ram it down their throats, I don't think this is right.
If it's a Tunnocks wafer, I'll give it a go.
For the love of God.
Me and Hugh are just going to go down that homeless shelter and give kids some food to make up for Alex's absolute greed of eating 4 million sandwiches that starving kids would have loved. That's the story, isn't it?
I hate you.
Terrible, isn't it?
I'm trying to do something genuinely nice, you asshole.
Isn't it the saying, out of the mouths of babes?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can imagine Alex stood there, some small starving child next to him going, you wouldn't like this, don't worry. Chomp.
Oh, nice with a bit of pickle.
Toy. Can I at least have the toy, sir? Can you fuck? Just throwing it into the bush. Right, ladies and gentlemen, don't listen to a word of what Sean says. I'm not stealing food from the mouths of children here. I am raising money to support children. And please, I would love it if you could join me on this journey. It would be so good
I'll
to have
sponsor
you.
I'll sponsor you.
Thank you very much. Hugh, you going to come lift weights with me, buddy? Going to do some good bicep curls? Going to get your guns out?
Mate, I'd be quite happy just to walk up the road. That'd be but I'll donate some money. I'll sponsor you.
Do an old Tom.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. That's a good plan. So
Thing is,
Andy
mate,
says,
Alex, you're gonna have to let everybody know how to donate. Otherwise, nobody's gonna donate.
I hate this. This was so cringy. I've been sat for the entire episode being like, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? Should I mention it?
Okay, don't take it off then.
Do it.
So it's look for. In fact, I'll do the proper link in the chat at the moment while you guys could sort of like wind up there.
Comments. Who else? Chris, yes, you can get CPD points for listening to this podcast. Just go on your British Pest Register or BPCA registered app and log them. No problem at all. Everybody's gone quiet now.
I know.
Because everyone knows what you're thinking. Everyone knows what you want to say, but no one's going to see it.
They're all preparing the bloody nail bombs to sort of like send to me because I'm eating kids' sandwiches. That's what it is. They're going to have the word knob spray painted on my beautiful Toyota Yaris. That car is, I'm amazed it's still going. It literally runs on spite and malice now. There's no other explanation for it. It's so far past the grave. It's unreal. But there we go. Yeah. Andy says, like you don't have to show big. You don't have to sort of like. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be sort of like an overt gesture. Just 375 is.
It can be. Meal deal. It can be a meal deal, but we would prefer it was a pret-a-manger panini.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let those children eat cake.
Yes.
That's exactly.
Or Waitrose. How much is a Waitrose meal deal?
Probably about 57 quid, isn't it?
I felt like that was a trap aimed at me then. Be like, let's see if the posh boy knows how much a Waitrose is worth.
Waitrose sandwiches are probably about 57 quid, and the starving kids are the ones who have to make them, aren't they?
You just give them the same. You can keep that one, Bernard.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that one with Denzel Washington, where he's playing the drug dealer, and the people had to go in and prepare the drugs naked so they couldn't fill the pockets with drugs when they were leaving. Waitrose, there's got to be like that. They go in and the starving kids that Alex is trying to feed there. You can make sandwiches, take all your clothes off, take.
Yeah, and don't lick your fingers for that butter.
Yeah. Right.
On that note,
yeah, that's it.
On that note,
bring us up. So who have we got next week then, Hugh?
Next week, actually, it's the 30th. Yes, it's Oliver. It is. I made a mistake last week. The guy that was going to be this week is next week. That's Oliver Sanchez, and about AI cameras for pest control. So we skipped a week, I'm afraid.
Lovely stuff. And then, of course, the week after that, who's first week of February? Who have we got then?
So then we're going to start to reevaluate. That's not the right word. We're going to start having people back that were on podcasts way back, and we're going to start asking them what's happened to them over the last year, 18 months.
Put Simon Whitehead down, Find a Friday. I've spoken to him and he said, he's definitely going to come back on.
Yeah, so we've got quite a few people that have been on previously, and they're all coming back. You don't need, Sharon, you don't need a CPD code for British Pest Register. You can just self-register your time on this one.
Additionally, if you're BPCA registered, go to Reflective Learning, put it in there, just talk about one thing that you have learnt this episode, which is relevant to pest control, not about stealing sandwiches from children, which is to pest control, and you should be able to get your points that way. How do we do it for Basis now? Are Basis still not playing fair with this? Okay,
I gave up.
Sorry. If you want to approach Basis on an individual level, give them some shit, and there we are. I'm sorry, Sharon, you with Basis. Phone them up, ask them. They know the podcast exists. They know it's good value.
That's,
should give you a point.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, switch over to a CPD provider that gives a shit.
And on that note,
there are some fantastic industry-based ones. Just saying.
Let's go. Say goodbye, boys.
Just quickly before I go. When anybody finds out when the slides are available for the 3 points, the crew points for 2026, 2027, please can we let everybody know so we can get them done and get them ticked off. keep an eye out for them. I've been looking for them, can't see them out yet, but
Oh,
if we don't, we'll
sorry,
start
and
posting them.
I've got a challenge. How many T-shirts have we got left?
We haven't got very many size large. We've got 3XL, 2XL, and small.
Right. There is a free XL T-shirt. So when these slides come out, the first person who can prove with a timestamp that they were the first person to complete this year's CPD for crew, the first person to do it will get a free T-shirt. And I'll throw in that we will all sign that for good measure as well. If you can prove that you were the first person to have done that.
Cool.
Happy days?
Happy days.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the Beauties and Beasties podcast.